It is no surprise to any scholar of the vampiric society that Tremere was once a house of magi, a faction of the Order of Hermes who saw where the world was going and desperately sought to cling to their power even as science and rationality siphoned it away. To this end, they embraced vampirism, stealing their curse from the clan Tzimisce. Etrius, Tremere's closest and most loyal follower, was one of the magi who conducted this ritual of transformation, much to his own reluctance. Etrius was born in Sweden, outside of Gothenburg in 850, and was the son of a rough and uneducated Viking. He was, however, a protector and patron of the German bishop Ansgar, who worked to bring Christianity to the Scandinavians. The shy, introverted Etrius had a natural aptitude for magic, yet he lacked the skills and knowledge to control it properly, and this power convinced the young man that he was a saint in the making, making him both prideful and arrogant. Yet he was also resolved to become a priest, and his father paid to have him sent on a pilgrimage to Rome. Etrius never reached the Holy See, as his caravan was attacked by enemies of Etrius's father, and he was brought to Constantinople to be sold as a slave. There he was found by Tremere, a dishonored mage who had recently failed a coup to take over the Order of Hermes. Tremere saw in Etrius great potential for magic, and he made the Swede his apprentice, his first since the spoiling of his plot. Etrius grew loyal to Tremere, and as the years passed and he halted his own aging through magic, his faith was quietly eroded as he justified each dark act he had done as being on the conscience of God, who had, after all, granted him this power. This version of the story is mostly unknown to any who delve into Etrius's past, as he instead will have fabricated a life of studying in the Swedish Covenant before traveling to Transylvania once he had surpassed his Nordic masters. It is not strange, considering how ignoble his arrival to the Order of Hermes was. When Etrius met Goratrix, an earlier acolyte of Tremere, there was immediately a spark of rivalry between the two. Goratrix had no delusions of his own divinity or moral superiority, and heckled Etrius for his deluded beliefs. Etrius grew ever more adamant at this and decided that the most virtuous thing to do would be to remain loyal to Tremere, seeing as how Goratrix clearly had ambitions to surpass his master. Etrius established a chantry in Vienna in 920 and remained its master until 1022, even involving himself in the politics of mortals by helping the German king Otto the Great, who would later become the Holy Roman Emperor, in fighting off the Magyar at the Battle of Lechfeld in 955. While the Magyar were not hostile to the idea of Christianity itself, Etrius had long since developed a distaste for pagans like them and his own countrymen. Etrius had also fallen in love with a nun named Agnes, who had a deep passion for studying the curative effects of plants. Although she felt the same attraction for him, they both feared the consummation of their lusts and thus kept at a distance, often communicating through correspondence. The abbess of Agnes's convent found Etrius's letter and expelled her, forcing Agnes to travel to Etrius, who in turn gave her a position within the Vienna chantry. There she took the name Mendacamina. Yet they would continue to dance around each other until 1022. Etrius had until then spent a significant part of his time in Chiores, the Transylvanian chantry of Tremere, contesting with his rival Goratrix over Tremere's favor. While Etrius's discovery of magic's fading raised him in the eyes of Tremere, his disastrous dabbling in devil-conjuring magic saw Goratrix finally surpassing him when he, in 1022, offered a solution to their problem. Etrius was vehemently opposed to the ritual, believing that it would destroy their souls and curse them forever. Yet the council as a whole, and Tremere himself, went along with it, and they were all reborn as vampires. Despite the power this gained them, they had lost their magic, their avatars shattered forever, and the now clan of vampires began the process of turning their entire house, or at least all loyal to Tremere, into vampires. Etrius urged for a slow approach, presenting the idea of vampirism to those they thought would be loyal and having the transformation be consensual, while Goratrix urged for a rapid move for power. Tremere eventually followed Etrius's suggestion and bloodbound the council to himself, as they would then bind the rest of the clan to them. Mendacamina pursued Etrius to Chiores, having been told by him in a letter that they could never be together. Yet, in a momentary loss of control, he embraced her, and by doing this he earned her undying wrath. she cursed his name and would become a thorn in his side for years to come, joining forces with Goratrix. Etrius and Tremere would then travel together for quite some time, seeking to learn more about vampirism and to capture any Methuselah they could in order to let the council diabolarize and gain their power. In 1133, Etrius and Tremere managed to track down one of the antediluvians, the founders of the clans. Etrius, despite his better judgment, aided his lord in the diablerie of Solot, rewarded in turn with stewardship over Chiorus as Tremere sent Goratrix to Paris. Yet Chiorus had been Goratrix's bastion for a long time, and many there were still loyal to their former master. Etrius found that he was surrounded by rivals, and thus worked tirelessly to replace all he could with those loyal to himself. Menda Camina would eventually become the lord of the Vienna Chantry until she resigned from it to become a witch hunter, dying at the end of the 13th century. Etrius may seem reasonable, yet all his arguments are based in conservatism and carefulness. He will not conduct an affair without absolute proof that it is the correct path, and he often argues harshly against any change of direction in the clan. He surrounds himself with those loyal to him, and the only one who can ever dictate his behavior is Tremere. Yet as the years went by, the founder would rise less and less often from his diablerie-induced torpor, and soon Etrius was the head of the clan in all but name, being the mouthpiece for their antediluvian. Officially, he is in charge of Eastern Europe and the clan's primary chantry, as a decision was made to move to Vienna, but in all matters where the will of the founder is concerned, Etrius speaks. Etrius played a major role in the formation of the Camarilla, skillfully providing both aid to the founders as well as formulating the ritual that cursed the Banu Hakim with their inability to drink vampiric blood. Once this curse was broken by Urshulgi, Etrius fiercely opposed the idea of letting some of the children of Hakim join the Camarilla, yet he was overruled. And despite his misgivings over the diablerie of Solot, Etrius loathes the Salubri with a passion, reputedly having been the one to come up with the idea of changing the narrative around them to insinuate devil worship and diablerie running rampant through the clan. Etrius is one of the few vampires aware that the thing in the Vienna Chantry is not Tremere. Indeed, the clan founder was forced to concede control over his body to Solot almost immediately upon the diablerie, and Etrius momentarily served as a vessel for his master's soul. It is said that Goratrix was then used as a more permanent vessel for Tremere, which would mean that the Tremere anti-tribu of the Sabbat were, in fact, duped to follow Tremere all along. But they are all gone now, destroyed in the underground chantry of Goratrix in Mexico City, burned to cinder in one hot flash of power. Nobody knows where Goratrix is right now, although Max Schrecht, the current leader of the clan, following the destruction of the Vienna Chantry and the Council of Seven, has his theories. Whether Etrius remains active, or if he too was destroyed by the Second Inquisition's organized assault, remains to be seen. Max knows who really controls the body of Goratrix, and has even revealed as much to Beckett, the scholar, who has informed that a mysterious third eye has sprouted on the former acolyte of Tremere's forehead.